Hi, welcome back to my author commentary for A Prince of Song and Shade. Today we are up to chapter 4. Now this is a relatively short and again sort of mostly uneventful chapter, but again there are quite a few seeds being laid here. A few things that we learned that will certainly become important as the book and the rest of the series unfolds. Mostly we have scenes here between Talyn and her lover Tarcos as they catch up, reunite on her return from Mithranar and his return from helping Ariel the Horselord in the northern mountains against the brigands. A few conversations between the two of them, and then Talyn eventually makes a decision that she's going to take some leave from the Kingshield, and the chapter finishes with her deciding to head home to visit her parents. Which is a long time coming because she hasn't been to visit them since before Sari's death. So let's dig a little bit into this one. So for a start, all these early scenes with Tarcos and Talyn being together as a couple are kind of gross. I didn't enjoy writing them. Knowing from the beginning what he was plotting and planning, it's uncomfortable writing a scene when your protagonist, who you really like, is kind of really into someone, and you know that they're really not a great person and they're kind of working against them. And it's an uncomfortable thing to write because the protagonist doesn't know what you know, obviously. So she's obviously not in love with Tarcos, but she does consider him a very good friend. She's very attracted to him. They have a good kind of relationship, which she enjoys. And the whole time I kind of have to write that, but I have to write how she feels about that. And yeah, it's, he's just a bit gross. Don't like him at all. I do have times where the villains I write, I do enjoy them. I enjoy writing them. I really enjoy writing the scenes between the villain and the protagonist. But in the instance of Tarcos is one of the few times where I don't like him and I didn't enjoy writing him, and I really didn't enjoy, writing those scenes with Talyn. But throughout these interactions between the two of them in this chapter, we start to see the seeds of his betrayal. He reveals for the first time, not as a huge surprise to Talyn, but he'd never stated it so clearly before, that he wants to become his uncle's heir. His uncle, the warlord of Firthland, doesn't have a child, hasn't been able to have a child, so we'll probably need to choose from amongst his nephews. Who will succeed him as warlord of Firthland. And Tarcos very clearly, very much wants to take that role, and that comes very clear in this chapter. There's also a little sneaky reference to his visit to Sarmatia when he was 12 years old. That's the capital city. Sorry, one of the princes of Mithrana's visit to Sarmatia when Tarcos was younger. And this is the very first time that Tarcos and Azralan met. And I wanted to put that. It's such a passing reference. Unless you had read the rest of the books and knew that Tarcos and Azralan were working together, you would think nothing of it. You would think it was just Tarcos making a reference to, oh yeah, I've met one of the Mithranan princes. They came to Sarmatia when I was a kid. I also very deliberately worked. Tarcos doesn't specify the name of the prince. He just said one of the elder princes visited. And I wrote the description to make it sound like Mithranar, because Mithranar is the red herring villain in this series, right? Like, he's a horrible person. He's monstrous. Some of his actions are monstrous, but he's not the adversary. He's not the villain. But again, I just wanted anyone who read that kind of reference by Tarcos and maybe was clever enough to read a bit into it would think that he was talking about Mithranar, not Azralan. I was very careful with that. So that was a bit of fun. I love doing little things like that. And just going back to Tarcos being gross, like, they talk about the fact that Neva riders were involved in the assassination attempt on Prince Q and that Talyn fought off, and he's like, oh, Talyn, if it wasn't you that was telling me that you'd seen Nevas, then I wouldn't believe it. Like, oh, what gaslighting. Really don't like him. Anyway, moving on from Tarcos. Another little hint right at the end of the chapter, he brings her hot tea in the morning and she kind of has a sip and she's disappointed it's not Carvey. It's just like when she was having the dinner with Cinia and Leviana in the Riathla Inn in chapter 2, where something was quite off, and it was the fact there was no music playing. There's these little things that are coming to her that she misses about Mithranar that have kind of buried inside her and are there now, and being home isn't quite the same as it was when she left, and that obviously plays into where Talyn ends up by the end of this series and where she feels like her home is and what is home to her. So yeah, another really quick kind of slightly uneventful chapter, but lots of little seeds in here, things that are going to really come into play later in the series. Next chapter, we head back to Kieran and the Shadowhawk. Really looking forward to that. I hope you're enjoying these author commentaries. As always, if you have any questions, if you have any follow-up about anything that I'm talking about in any of these commentaries, if you want me to discuss specific things, specific relationships, specific characters, if you have any questions, drop them all in the comments below. I'm very happy. I'll make a note of them and I'll address them in one of my future commentaries. I'd love to kind of keep this interactive and give you kind of what you're interested in hearing about from me. And also love it if you could, on your way out, like and subscribe to the channel. That would be also a massive help for me. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying these. I can't wait to see you in the next chapter, chapter 5 next. I hope you have a great day.